Shannon Carr.
Hey, Bill.
23 dead and 13 missing. This was the count according to NBC in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as of May 30th, 2015. During the last week of May and the beginning of June, Texas was hit with massive amounts of rain leading to horrible flooding. The Weather Channel has called May the wettest month ever in both Texas and Oklahoma. Although this rain was a nice change for the residents of Texas because of the droughts that are often faced, it took more of a toll than we could have ever hoped for. Because this was so close to home, for many people, just 30 minutes away, people were being forced to be evacuated from their homes, and their homes were being swept away by the floodwaters. News stations nationwide were covering this disaster, and President Obama even labeled this a national disaster and sent in our nation's disaster relief programs. The storm seemed to be never ending. The effect on the people was even worse. Texas is now fighting to recover from this horrible mess of a storm. In order for flooding to happen, there must be rain and a lot of it. Dr. John Nielsen Gammon, a Texas state climatologist, stated during a press conference with NBC that spring is usually wet, but not this wet. Continual rain and in massive quantities created record-breaking rainfall. A statewide rainfall average of 8.81 inches was in May in the state of Texas. Texas often struggles with droughts during the spring and summer months, leaving riverbanks and lands very dry. This makes the state very prone to flooding. National Geographic explains that the riverbanks and land being dry are the main two reasons for flooding. Flash flooding is also a major issue because people have less time to evacuate. Because people are unable to evacuate, there is more damage than just to the land. NBC tells us that there was 23 counted as dead from the flooding, but there is still more water to come. We are unsure of the amount of people that actually passed away because of this disaster because there are people still missing. Wimberley, Texas is one of the places that was most affected by the storm. It is located north of San Antonio, about 30 minutes, and is located on the Blanco River. More than 60 homes were taken. 9 bodies have been found, but there are still 2 bodies of children who are missing. This is according to a report on June 9th from Statements News. Dallas-Fort Worth area reports that over 270 calls were made in a single day to authorities asking for help. While flying into Dallas, there is still visible flooding even days after the rain had stopped. Flooding affected all the major cities: Dallas, Fort Worth area, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin. All the dried lakes are fuller than they have been in years. We must now work to recover from the floods. We must help the smaller communities rebuild what has been destroyed. Charities have been created to raise money for this rebuilding efforts. Local schools and churches have created their own charities to help raise funds. Facebook prayer requests have been sent out, and there are links all over the internet to try to help find those who are still missing from the floods. We also must try to focus on the good that has come out of this. We are now out of the drought for the first time in years, and the lakes and rivers will be used more than they have been in a lot of the previous seasons. Water levels are higher than they have been in a very long time. So although Texas was hit with this massive flooding that led to with this massive amount of rain that led to horrible flooding, deaths, and damages statewide, we must now focus on the rebuilding that has to be done in order to help all those that have been hit with these floods. We must also learn to be thankful for the much-needed rain that this state finally received.